Peace and blessings, my brothers. Peace and blessings to you, my guys. I hope that you guys are doing well. It is Monday night, December 13th, 2021. And brothers, this is not going to be a super entertaining stream. I see you guys. I see you. If you guys can hear me, just put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat. We have to talk about serious things tonight. Everyone is talking about it. I see you guys. Everyone is talking about it, as they should. As they should. As they should, my brothers. I'm glad to see you all on a Monday night. I'm glad to see all you guys on a Monday night. This is the holiday season, my brothers. This is the holiday season. And I don't have to tell you guys. I see you, brother. I see you. Christopher Clipper, I see you. Coltrane's Law, Split Nats, I see you. Spets Nats, I see you. Mr. Good Dad, I see you. Universal 178, I see you. J. Poe, I see you. Dre Milan, I see you. Lamont Ellis, I see you. Tim Howard, what's going on, my brother Tim Howard? I see you, my brother. I see you. We have to talk about Raji Sharif Black, age 44. A black man who left a very, very powerful message. A black man who left a very, very powerful message for all of us. We have to talk about it. We have to talk about this tragedy. And we have to talk about what it means for us as black men and what it means for all of us who are engaged in this work of dealing with black men's issues. This is why we're here, guys. This is why we are here. This is why we have this space, guys. This is why black men are talking amongst themselves. Because, my guys, we have issues, we have challenges, we have problems that no one else addresses. No one else addresses. We have real issues, brothers. The politicians don't want to address our condition. The churches do not address our condition. The activists, they do not address our condition. The intellectuals and the academicians, they do not address our condition. And there are so many entities in this society, in this U.S. society that we reside in, that simply do not address what we go through. And to be brutally honest, they simply do not care about our lives. And this incident, my guys, this incident with this black man, and y'all know what's going on because it's all over social media. Black YouTubers are addressing it. It's all over Facebook. It's all over Twitter, Instagram. Everyone is talking about it. And everyone is putting their spin on it, as they should. But brothers, we have to go a little deeper. On my channel, I try to take things to a higher level. There are those of us in the space who go a little bit deeper and higher when it comes down to black men's issues. There is Dr. T.S. Johnson with the Onyx Report and the Institute for Black Masculine Studies, who for over 2 years has been talking about, who has been engaging, who has been educating on the issue of intimate partner violence. We know it as domestic violence. There is domestic abuse. There is psychological abuse. There is physical abuse, abuse of the mind. There is the green gorilla who also addresses these issues, who addresses the problem of the state, child support, the way in which the state, my guys, has been weaponized against men in general and black men in particular. And there is myself, my guys. There is myself. And the men, all the men that I have mentioned thus far, all of us, we have academic backgrounds. We study this stuff from an academic perspective as well as a personal perspective. Yes. Brother, you want to know if I have a PhD? I have a PhD. I got a PhD from Vanderbilt University. This is where I earned my PhD. You want to know what my credentials are? I have a PhD from Vanderbilt University. If you don't know who I am, Google me. Google my name, Ronald Neal, PhD. This is where I earned my PhD. Yes. I don't play with these credentials. And I've devoted my life, my adult life, to grappling with these issues. And guys, what we have to do is we have to deal with the fact that we as black men are human beings and that we are fragile human beings and that we have emotions, we have vulnerabilities just like everybody else. And we in this society, my guys, are treated as though we are something other. And there is a lot of commentary right now, and I'm not going to out anybody, but there's a lot of commentary out right now that is taking this guy, Rashid Sharif Black. A lot of commentary. Where he is seen as a weak man, he is seen as a cowardly man, he is seen as a man who didn't have a backbone. There are people who are calling him a simp. They're pathologizing him at all levels in all sorts of ways. And I get it. And I get it. 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 Thank you, Barry Little, for that. We live with this thing called manhood. We live with this thing called manhood. 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 And there are traditions of manhood. And there is a dominant tradition of manhood that all of us are familiar with. Thank you, Barry Little, for that support. Thank you, my guy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Tim Howard, for that. Thank you, my brother. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. There are traditions of manhood that we live with. There was a school of thought which is called Stoicism. 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 Stoicism is an ancient school of thought. You can find Stoicism in the Greco-Roman world. You can find Stoicism in the Christian tradition. You find it, my guys, you find it in the New Testament, in the writings of Paul, the Apostle Paul. Well, Paul tells Christians, he tells Timothy, he tells him to endure hardness, to endure hardness, be a good soldier of Jesus Christ. The Christians dealt with persecution. The Christians were killed. The first generation of Christians. And they were killed for being Christians, thrown into prison, thrown to lions, defrocked, murdered for what they believed. And the Christians were taught to endure persecution, to endure the pain that was inflicted on their bodies. And this, my guys, is the code of the Stoic. To be a soldier. To be a soldier. Thank you, Dr. Trey, Dr. Tree 33. Thank you for that, Dr. Tree 33. To be a good soldier. That a good soldier fights unto the death. You fight until you die. You fight on the battlefield. And what happens is that your courage, your bravery, and your fortitude on the battlefield is what makes you an honorable individual. It comes out of the soldier's ethic. It makes you an honorable soldier. And brothers, the Christians were not the only ones. The Christians were not the only ones who had a Stoic mentality. The Greeks were not the only ones who had the Stoic mentality. If you study, my guys, if you study Buddhism, the Buddhist tradition, the Buddhists possess a belief system that accepts the harsh realities of life, a belief system that accepts the facts of suffering. The Buddhists teach that at the fundamental core of the human condition is suffering. human suffering, and that there is nothing that we as human beings can do to escape the condition of suffering. And that we as human beings have to negotiate suffering and find ways of dealing with suffering. And so the Buddha, Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha, he established this thing called the four noble truths. The four noble truths. And the first noble truth has to do with the truth, the fact of suffering. That it is inescapable. Now, why am I saying all this, guys? Why am I saying all this? Why am I saying all this, guys? I'm saying all this, guys, because although we have manhood traditions that teach us to be soldiers, that teach us to be generals, to teach us to fight on the battlefield until the end, until death. The reality is, my guys, the reality is, I want you to hear this. The reality is that there are men who fold. There are men who surrender. There are men who give up. There are men who lay down and they die. And they die at the hands of forces that they regard as insurmountable. They die at the hands of conditions that they feel are so overwhelming, so powerful, that they are powerless against them. And this is a condition, my guys. This is a condition that many Black men find themselves in. This is the condition. I'm not going to call this man a coward. I think what happened to this man was tragic, and what happened to the women, rest in peace to the women, rest in peace to the women, his ex-wife who lost her life, rest in peace to his ex-girlfriend who lost her life, and rest in peace to this man who took his life after taking their lives. Rest in peace to all of these people. And we can only pray, guys, we can only pray for the children who have been left. We can only pray for the children who are left standing without parents. We can only pray for the family members and the loved ones who are in grief and sorrow right now. We can only pray for them. But we have to deal with the fact, guys, that there are Black men who are out here. There are Black men who are out here dealing with circumstances that they see beyond their control. And these Black men see absolutely no exit. They see no exit from their circumstances. They feel trapped. And they feel as though no one cares. They feel alone. They feel as though they have no support, they have nowhere to go. And these feelings, my guys, these are real feelings. These are real sentiments that Black men have. And unfortunately and tragically, guys, we have Black men who kill themselves. They engage in what is called self-immolation because of this. They take themselves out. And brothers, it is not lost on me. It is not lost on me that we are right now in the holiday season. We are in the holiday season right now, guys. Thanksgiving has just passed. Christmas is right around the corner. And so is New Year's. And as I said to you guys in my last stream, on Black men's happiness. If you haven't seen my live stream, the last stream I did on Black men's happiness, I need you guys to go check out the last stream on Black men's happiness. That this can be, and this is rather, a very difficult time of the year. Just by itself, without having any external stress coming from relationships, coming from dealing with a child support system, dealing with the state, without dealing with that, just the season itself. And brothers, what we realize with this situation, and we don't know all the details, we don't know every single detail about this man's situation. All we know is through his own testimony, his own account from Facebook Live, that this guy was in a battle. He was in a legal custody battle with his wife, his ex-wife. By his accounts, 3 years. And by his own words, he was alienated from his children. He was alienated from his children. He wanted access to his children, and he was being obstructed. He was being prevented from seeing his children due to, according to him, the machinations of his wife. Thank you, Diedrich Smith, for that super chat. And not only was he dealing with an uphill custody battle, he was dealing with accusations of sexual misconduct. The worst type of accusations that a man can have, especially a father, being accused of nefarious sexual activities with his own children, his own progeny. Now that by itself, guys, is enough to drive a man insane. Especially if the accusations are just accusations, especially if the wife is issuing those accusations falsely for the sole purpose of alienating this man from his children. And it doesn't help, guys. It does not help. It does not help. It does not help. It does not help that the child support system in the United States, in every state of the US, the child support system is stacked against men in general. The child support system is stacked against Black men in particular. The child support system vis-a-vis the state, it doesn't matter what state you're living in. He was living in the state of Maryland. You can live in the state of Georgia. You can live in the state of Mississippi. You can live in the state of Alabama, South Carolina, the state of New York, California, Michigan. It doesn't matter what state that you're living in. The child support system is stacked against men. Thank you, Raj, the one. Thank you, Ra, the one. It is stacked against men. And men are talking about this system. And men have been talking about this system for decades. And in this space, the Black manosphere, we talk about this child support system. And we know how bad this system is. We know that this child support system is so nefarious. We know that it is so wicked and evil towards Black men that there are Black men like myself who is scared to death of having a child. Scared to death of having a child. I will confess to you, brothers, I am a childless Black man. I have been a childless Black man all of my adult life. I have been deliberate in being a childless Black man. And the main reason why I'm childless right now is because I am scared to death of the child support system. And this brother isn't the first brother. I need y'all to know this. This man is not the first man to engage in the act in which he did due to the child support system. He's not the first. And I doubt that this guy will be the last. Now, on top of the child support system, my guys, you have another scenario. We don't know. We probably will never know, guys. We probably will never know the details of his relationship with his wife, how he met her, how long they had a relationship before marriage. We will never know these things. No one expects this stuff to happen. You get married and have a child. No one expects this stuff to happen, guys. We don't know the detail. For all we know, this man married a woman who he loved. This man married a woman who he thought he was going to be with until he died. And most men have that in their minds. Most men have that. Most men have the outlook of until death do us part. That's most men's outlook on marriage. That's most men. Most men are traditional. Most men are traditional when it comes down to marriage. So the brother was married. And then the brother went through a divorce with this woman. He was married and then he went through a divorce with the woman. I've never been married. I've never been divorced. I've never been married. I've never been divorced. But I know lots of men who have been married and divorced. And I know lots of men who have been broken. I want you to hear me, guys. I know lots of men, grown adult Black men, men who are my age, men who are younger than me, men who are older than me, who have been broken by divorce. I know Black men who have had to go through serious therapy. They've had to go through serious work after a divorce, after the dissolution of a marriage, and how the marriage broke them. The marriage broke the guys. It broke these guys financially because they had to pay alimony. They had to pay child support. They lost significant portions of their incomes. They had to start all over again. They had to move out of their homes, houses. You have to move out of a house that you bought, and you got to move into an apartment. You got to move into an efficiency, and you got to start all over from scratch. And then you have to maintain another household as you build yourself up. I know lots of men, guys, who have been broken by divorce. And these guys were so devastated by divorce that they swore that they would never, ever, 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 ever marry again. They would never marry again. Y'all get the likes up, guys. Get the likes up. Get the likes up. Get the likes up. We're having a serious discussion, because we have to get to the core of this video. We got to get to the meat of this video, which has to deal with Black men fighting hopelessness and despair. Black men fighting hopelessness and despair. Black men not engaging in self-immolation, not engaging in suicide. But this guy was broken by a divorce. And in his divorce, we don't know the details. We don't know the details of the situation. In his divorce, this guy decided to hook up with another woman. This guy decided to hook up with a woman in the aftermath of his divorce. This guy. Now, there are some commentators on YouTube who've addressed this situation, who pathologized and who demonized this brother for hooking up with a woman, getting a girlfriend. Thank you, Sneak 2008. Thank you to Sneak. I'm going to check it out. I'm going to check it out, my brothers. I see it. The Sneak 2008. Thank you. I'm going to check it out. He went, my guys. This brother sought solace in another woman. That is, he sought another relationship in the aftermath of his divorce. Another relationship. And we can say what we want to say about that. And I'll say it, I watched Coach Greg Adams. Greg Adams said that he made a bad decision Coach Greg Adams, I saw him this morning. He said he made a bad decision by hooking up with a woman in the aftermath of his divorce. That is, getting a girlfriend in the aftermath of his divorce. And perhaps he is right. Perhaps he is right. Perhaps he is right. He made a bad move. He made a bad move. I would say he made a bad move with what happened in this relationship. And what happened in this relationship is that he got this other woman pregnant. He got this woman who was his girlfriend. He got her pregnant in the aftermath of a divorce. If he made a bad move, that was a bad move, getting her pregnant. I'm not going to knock a man. Thank you, Man Friday. Thank you, Man Friday, for that. We appreciate you. We appreciate you from the UK. We appreciate you. All my brothers in the UK, I salute you. We appreciate you in the UK. And all the brothers in different parts of the world, in the Caribbean, we salute you. In South America, we salute you, brothers. But here's the reality, guys. Men are vulnerable. Men are vulnerable. When a man is a broken man, when a man is broken, he becomes vulnerable. A man who is broken in a divorce, he can become vulnerable to another woman. We don't know what kind of state he was in. We don't know what his mindset was. We don't know where he was emotionally. We don't know what kind of relationship he had with this girlfriend. She could have very well been someone who was a source of support and strength for him in the aftermath of the marriage. She must have been something to him. She must have been something to him because he was forthright with her, and he shared with her what he was going through with his ex. He did some pillow talking. He did some pillow talking with another woman. He did some pillow talking with another woman. And you got to be careful about that, guys. You got to be careful about pillow talking. You got to be careful about the kind of pillow talking that you do. Regardless of the circumstances that you find yourself, you got to be careful of that kind of pillow talking. You don't expose everything about your emotional life. You don't expose everything, every detail of your life to a woman, especially if she is not your wife. But apparently, he trusted her. Apparently, he saw her as a source of support. And yes, psychologically, yes, I think the psychologists are right, YouTube streets. You should wait some time. You should wait time. But people are vulnerable. People are vulnerable. People break. People want support. We're human beings. Men want support. And we have to be honest with ourselves as men, black men, that there are still parts of us We want that feminine nature. We want that feminine nurture. We want that feminine care. We want that pure feminine love. We want that unconditional love of a woman as we are going through our trials and our tribulations. That's what we want deep, deep down inside. And some of us get very, very weak. We get very, very weak. And we have to be very, very careful in our moments of weakness, because it is at those moments that we can be targeted by predators, emotional predators, psychological predators, people who who want to do harm to you, people who don't want to do good by you, women. And this man connected with this woman who became his girlfriend. And they had unprotected sex. Unprotected sex. That's how she got pregnant. He didn't take the precautions that he needed to take. He didn't take the precautions that he needed to take. And yes, Sandra Jean, you are absolutely right. Women do have control over pregnancy. And women have more birth control options than men. And we don't have no idea what type of conversations that he had with her about her pregnancy. We don't know what type of conversations that they had about birth control. We don't know. It could have been a situation where they went back and forth. It could have been a situation where he wanted her to be on birth control and she wouldn't take it or whatever. It could have been a situation where they got caught up. It could have been just all kinds of things can go down. He didn't use the proper judgment. The judgment that he needed in that situation. And this is why I got to say to you guys, yes, I don't care how many birth control options that these women have. I don't care how many birth control options that these women have. You got to be smarter than her. You have to be smarter than her, brothers. If you got to keep that condom on at all times, keep that condom on at all times. Keep that condom on at all times. If you got to go out, listen, guys, I want y'all to get this. If you got to go out and spend $200 or $250 on Plan B, if you got to go to Walgreens, you can go to Walgreens, you can go to CVS. A box of Plan B at CVS costs $50 at minimum, $50. If you got to go out there and spend $200 on 4 boxes of Plan B, and you out there doing the raw thing, you need to go ahead and do it and make sure that she takes that Plan B. But we don't know what was going on. We don't know what was going on. And now she's pregnant. Now this woman is pregnant. So now he got a wife and kid. He got wife and children. He's doing battle with this child support stuff. custody issues, and he got a girlfriend who's pregnant. And it's obvious that he and the girlfriend had a conflict. It is obvious that he and the girlfriend had a dispute. It is obvious that he and the girlfriend were not getting along, and that things got so bad, that things got so toxic between he and his girlfriend, that his girlfriend took his emotional vulnerabilities. His girlfriend took his weaknesses. All the pillow talking that he did with his girlfriend, all the pillow talking he did with his girlfriend took all of that stuff and she weaponized it against him. She weaponized it according to him, according to him, according to him, according to him. She's not here to speak for herself. She's not here to speak for herself. We only have his testimony. She threatened to do to him with their future child, the baby in her belly. She threatened to do to him what his wife was presently doing to him. It was a threat. And when that threat was issued, if his account is correct, if we take him by face value, if everything that he is saying is accurate about his entire scenario, this brother found himself between a rock and a hard place. Because now you've got two situations. You got two situations with two women, two different households, different sets of children, and you're faced with a situation for which, on appearances, you have no control. You have absolutely no control. And this is the situation, my guys, that black men, a lot of black men find themselves in. They find themselves between a rock and a hard place. And he felt powerless. He was trapped. He was in a triangle. This is a triangle, guys. This is a triangle. Some might call it a love triangle. This is a triangle. We can call it a death triangle, the triangle of death. This is the triangle of death. He is one man who has to contend with two women who are working against him, two women who have the state behind them, two women who basically own him. Because the reality is, my guys, once you drop your seed into a woman, in American society, once you impregnate her, it doesn't matter if she's your wife or she is not your wife, she owns a huge chunk of who you are. She has ownership over you. Once you drop that seed in her, and she decides to carry that seed, she has ownership over your entire life. So I can definitely see the despair. I can definitely see the hopelessness. There's nowhere to turn. Who do you appeal to? Where do you go? We don't know what kind of financial situation this guy was in. We don't know what his economic affairs were like. We don't know how much debt he was in. We don't know who he owed. He was a healthcare worker. He was a nurse. We don't know if he was overextended in mortgage debt and student loan debt. We don't know, if he had investments or whatever. We don't know what money he owed to other people. We don't know those things. And on top of that, we don't know, brothers, we don't know this man's prior history. His prior history with women. But here's what I want to get to, you guys. Here's what I want to get to. Here's the thing. It is easy for us black men to find ourselves in these conditions, these situations, and feel as if there is no way out. It is easy. It can happen to anybody. The breakdown, the emotional toll, the mental toll that these circumstances have on men are serious. It can happen to anybody. And they can happen right now. There are not a lot of support. There are not a lot of support systems in place. There are not a lot of mental health resources in place specifically for black men. Specifically. I want to give a shout out to the Kosher Clinician. Y'all subscribe to the Kosher Clinician. The Kosher Clinician is a licensed clinical therapist. He's one of about the only therapists that we have, only black male therapist that we have on YouTube who is a part of the Black Manosphere. He deals with these type of issues all the time. And black men deal with this stuff because there's no support. We are constantly told to man up. Y'all hit the likes, y'all share, subscribe. If you like this content, you can donate. You can donate through the super chats. You can cash app $ BMI 3000, cash app $ 3000. You can support there. Cash app $ 3000 BMI, cash app $BMI 3000. I gotta say it again. Cash app $ BMI 3000. PayPal Ronald B. Neal. PayPal Ronald B. Neal. There aren't a lot of support. There isn't a lot of support for black men. And what some of us do, we overcompensate. We try to find other ways to deal with our emotional, mental, psychological issues. Some of us take narcotics. Some of us smoke weed. We do marijuana. Some of us do other drugs, hard drugs. You do cocaine. Some black men pop pills, Oxycontin, Percocets. Thank you, Mr. Alter the Well. There are men who do heroin. There are men who do cocaine. There are men who drink. They drink beer. They drink hard liquor, white liquor, dark liquor. They drink wine. There are men who engage in all sorts of indulgences, all sorts of risky, high-risk behavior in an effort to deal with their emotional issues. This is real. This is real. This is how we escape. This is how we cope. This is how we heal ourselves, through self-medication. And some of us try to find medicine in women. We got to be honest about that. This brother, I see it in the story. He sought medicine in women. He wanted a woman to heal him. He wanted a female healer. And a lot of us guys, we have these issues and we've been looking for female healers. We've been looking for female healers. We want them deep down inside. We want their femininity. But that feeling, that female healing, the healing of femininity has been elusive. It has been elusive. It has been elusive. It has been elusive. Because we are not seen as human beings. We are seen as utilities. We are seen as instruments. We are a means to an end for someone else's agenda and purposes. But here's what I want to say to all of you guys. Here's what I want us to say, guys, is that we have to fight. I want to say to all of us, brothers, is that we have to fight. We have to fight. We have to fight. We have to fight so that we die another day. That we die another day. The day, so that the day that you contemplate killing yourself, the day that you contemplate suicide, you stop in your tracks and you take an assessment of your life and you think about the things that you have to live for, and you think about tomorrow, and you think about next week, and you think about next week, and you think about next month rather, and you think about next year, and you think about the other side of the situation that you're presently going through. That is, you die another day. You die naturally. You die by natural forces another day. Because the fact of the matter, guys, is that you can overcome this stuff. I know it seems dire. I know he was in a dire, apparently this guy was in a dire predicament. He was in a dire predicament. He saw no way out. But I'm sorry that he didn't have anybody. I'm sorry. It seems that just from appearances, guys, this guy did not have a brotherhood. This guy did not have a connection. He did not have somebody who he could talk to, who would talk him out of this, who would convince him that there was a reason for him to live another day and to die another day. That you can't allow the hopelessness and the despair to destroy you. That it's possible you can recover. There are men who recover. They recover from divorces. They recover from the child support. They recover from the alimony. They recover from all the most emotional toil and abuse that comes from these relationships. These men ultimately, if they stick through it, they ultimately bounce back. They bounce back. We have lots of brothers in our space who are divorced. We have lots of brothers in our space who have gone through the child support system. We have lots of brothers in our space who have been lied on, who have dealt with false allegations of various sorts. And they're still here. They're still here. They are still here to tell the story. They're still here. Get the likes up, guys. We got 85 people in the house. 85 people. Get the likes up. Hit the cash app. $ BMI 3000. This is a serious subject. This is an emotional subject. We don't talk about this stuff in the Black manosphere. Suicide. We run away from suicide. We act as though suicide doesn't exist among Black men. It happens. We act as though mental health issues do not exist among Black men. They exist. And don't be afraid to get help, guys. Don't be afraid to get help. Don't be afraid to call the suicide hotline. Don't be afraid to call somebody who you trust. Somebody who you trust, who you know is not going to weaponize your feelings and your emotional state against you. You contact somebody who cares about your well-being. That's what you do. Whoever that person is, whoever that brother is, doesn't matter. We got to live. It's important for us to live. This brother, Raji Sharif Black, he left us a message, guys. He left us a message. He sent a message to the world through that suicide death. He wanted us to know. He wanted us to know what he was going through. He wanted us to know about the child support system. He wanted us to know about despair. He wanted us to know about how a Black man can get caught up. He wanted us to know. The brother said he didn't want to go to prison. The man said that he didn't want to go to prison. I can't go to prison. That's what the guy said. I can't go to prison. I can't go to prison. That's how deep that's how deep this stuff was and is. And this is why, guys, this is why we talk about SYSBM. This is why we have this manosphere. Because it's important for us to get smarter and smarter and smarter and smarter and smarter. We must get smarter and smarter in how we engage the world in general and how we engage the opposite sex in particular. We have to get smarter, guys. We got to get smarter. Is this a case study for SYSBM? Is this a case study for SYSBM? Yes, it is a case study for SYSBM. It is. It's a cautionary tale. because SYSBM is about being smart enough to make the right precautions so that you do not find yourself in a situation where you got two individuals who hold your life in both of their hands, where you have the state holding your life in its hand. This is a SYSBM situation. It teaches us that marriage and having children in this society is risky business. It's risky business. Getting married is a risk. Having a kid is a risk. Relationships are a risk. Relationships are a risk. Who you lay down with, guy, who you sleep with, it's a risk. You have to vet. You have to vet, brothers. Thank you. Thank you for that, Mr. All to the Well. Here is a number for the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. Y'all see the number right here. This is the number right here. It's the number right there. You need to vet. We need to vet the people that we bring into our lives, into our personal, intimate space. You need to vet these people. Vet them. You can't be haphazard. You have to vet them. We can't lay down with everybody. We can't put our seed everywhere. We have to vet people. But the point of the stream, guys, is that we cannot surrender, or we should not surrender to hopelessness. Hopelessness, hopelessness. There is a way of bouncing back. There is another side. Get the help that you need, brothers. If you haven't, there's nothing dishonorable about feeling weak. There's nothing dishonorable about having thoughts of taking yourself out, suicide, nothing dishonorable. This man was 44 years old. This man was 44 years old. A lot of men in this country who commit suicide, they commit suicide in their 40s. There are a lot of men who commit suicide in their 40s. He is around the mid-range age of men who commit suicide in this country. Mid-40s. If it's not a situation, here's the thing, if it's not a situation with an ex-wife and child custody, if it's not that, if it's not a situation with an ex-girlfriend who was about to have your child, it can be a situation with your livelihood. It can be a situation with how you're going to make a living. You can get laid off. You can lose your job. You can lose the means of taking care of yourself. And you can be at a certain point in your life where you don't know what you're going to do, how you're going to make it. that can create despair and hopelessness. You can be dealing with physical issues, guys. There are men who find that they have cancer. You can have prostate cancer, colon cancer. You can have some disease that's incurable. And you want to take yourself out. There are all kinds of circumstances, brothers, that can arise that can make a man want to off himself, to kill himself. But you have to find your internal resources. I don't know what kind of spirituality you may have. There are some guys who have a spirituality that's based in Christianity. There are some men who have a spirituality that's based in Islam. There are some men who are Hebrew Israelites. There are some men who have spirituality that's based in African traditional religions. There are some men who have their spirituality based in Eastern traditions. There are men who have spirituality based in all sorts of things. I don't know what your source of spirituality is, but it's important that you draw upon that source, that base, to help you overcome hopelessness and help you to overcome despair. If you have to meditate, meditate. If you got to pray, pray. And I'm talking to all you brothers who have felt like nobody cares. All you brothers who are broken, who are at your wits' end. This stream in particular is for you. I want you brothers to live. This is why last week I talked about black men pursuing happiness. Do those things that make you happy. If you pursue those things that make you happy, my brother, black man, you will live. There is a reason, and there are reasons for you to live. And you got to put your finger on those reasons for living, for going forward. That's right, Tim Howard. BMH, that's the new acronym, BMH, Black Men's Happiness. BMH. I want to see you brothers live. I want to see black men live. This conversation that we're having, guys, is an ongoing one. This is not over with. We are not done with this. We are not done. I'm going to wrap up tonight, but we are not done because the mental health issues with black men are very real. They're very, very real. And our society does not want to address those issues. But we have to. We are fortunate to have this technology. We are fortunate to have spaces where black men are talking about their lives. and talking about our lives provides us with healing and strength. That's why it's important that we not live in isolation, that we be connected. We need to be connected, brothers, and remain connected. This is a revolutionary moment, a revolutionary time for Black men right now. We have a lot to be happy about. We have a lot. We are changing the culture. We are affecting society by what we're doing together right now. We are shifting narratives. We are challenging narratives. There's a lot that's positive that's happening right now in our technological spaces, in our black men's spaces. Good to see you, Dr. Johnson. You take care of yourself. Take care of your mental health. Connect your mental health to your physical health. Drink your water. Exercise, walk, run. Do everything that you have to do, guys, to be healthy. Thank you, Grinch. Thank you, Grinch, for that. Do not overinvest. Do not overinvest yourself emotionally in these women who are not reciprocating. Do not. If you have to be by yourself, if you have to be single in order to be happy, brothers, if you have to be single to be happy, here in the United States, be single. If you find that this relationship market is so toxic that it will tempt you, if you engage in it, to take yourself out, you need to remove yourself out of this relationship market. Guys, we're going to address this situation some more. And others like it. But I want to put this out here. Y'all share this because I think that the Black manosphere needs to go deeper. The Black manosphere needs to go deeper in dealing with this existential condition. It has to go deeper. Because our lives are at stake. Our very lives are at stake. You can't just be preoccupied. You just can't be preoccupied with getting rich. You just can't be preoccupied with women and the chase. We can't be preoccupied with things that do not give us longevity in this world, guys. "44 is young for a man." 44. It is young. It is young. It is young. That is a young age for one's life to come to an end. 44, that's young. 44 is young. I'm 48. This guy's 4 years younger than me. I'm 48 and I'm looking forward to 50. I can't wait for 50 to be here. I can't leave here before 50. I can't leave here because I'm going to celebrate at 50. I'm going to celebrate when I turn 50. And then once I get to 50, I'm going to be looking forward to 60. And I'm going to do my best to make it to 60. And if nothing takes me out before I turn 60, nothing naturally takes me out before I'm 60, and I hit 60, I'm going to celebrate turning 60. We can make it through these humps, guys. But listen, brothers, I'm gonna end the stream. I just felt that I need to come out here and talk and just have a talk about this and this circumstance, this situation. We had a brother last year, Forrest Windu. We had a brother last year, Forrest Windu. He committed suicide. There was a brother who committed suicide last year, Forrest Windu. He committed suicide. A brother who was in our space, a brother who was a participant, a member of the Black Manosphere. He committed suicide last year. I want to see you guys live. I want to see all of us live, brothers. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys. Thank you, Coach the Clinician. Y'all check out the Coach the Clinician. He is a licensed clinical therapist. A licensed clinical therapist. He's trained to deal with these issues. Y'all go check out his channel. I'm going to sign off, guys. You all have a good rest of your night. And as I said, guys, do everything that you can do within your power to maximize your happiness. Do not surrender to the forces of hopelessness and despair. All of us have much to live for. Peace and blessings to you guys. I will see you next time around.